Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smack Attack. I am your host, Jimmy T. That is my co-host, R to the B to the V, and we are live on Media Group's YouTube channel and, of course, channelattitude.com after the fact. Rick, what's crack-a-lackin'? And I'm sorry for the delay start, obviously. That's on me. That's my bad. But we're here right now. That's all that matters. And how you been, man? How's your week been?
Well, I say, Jimmy, oi. Finally, yeah, we are live, coming to everybody here. Hopefully, the chat will be filling up here, ready to talk a little blue brand. While I'm dealing with potentially some blue balls over here in my chair, a little uncomfortable, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through. Hey, we've got an exciting. We're gonna try a little new format here, something new to roll out. Hopefully, we get a little feedback from the Hamid Army. A little more to the bang for the buck, straight to the punch, as we try some things here on the Smack Attack. But Jimmy, I want to know, do you know what day it is?
Well, for me, technically it's Sunday morning, but it's Saturday for you. So
Sunday, Saturday. More specifically, what day is it, Jimmy?
It's Saturday.
No, it's not. Roman Reigns Day. That was what Friday. That was yesterday for their SmackDown, as Paul Heyman let us know. It's not even Rusev Day. No, man.
Day.
You don't know what day it is, which makes you a terrible friend. It is Big Ray's birthday.
Whoa. I knew that, and I was going to wish you a happy birthday on the show, actually, funny enough. But I wasn't sure that you were going there. But yeah, I knew that, and I was going to do something just quietly.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, as soon as we're done, you got to get on the phone. You got to call him up, let him know to have a happy birthday. Hey, everybody's already headed over to our social medias, over to the X. They're wishing him a very happy birthday over on Facebook in our Hamid Media Group. We got a thread over there wishing them happy birthday where you can share your favorite photos, your favorite stories, your favorite memories. But yes, let's take a moment this afternoon through the evening, all weekend long. Hey, you can't go wrong to celebrate one of the OGs of the HMG, Big Ray.
Absolutely.
So happy birthday out there, buddy.
Happy birthday, big man. We love you. It's another year, another day. And I hope he gets spoiled rotten, which I'm sure he would have, actually, Rick. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm sure he's spending the day with his incredible family there. His wife still recovering. I know doing well. Hopefully Aiden's there too with them today. So they're all enjoying themselves there in New York, spending the day together and making some great memories.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But you know what? I'll do a special thing for you maybe at the end of the show. We'll see. But in saying that, Rick, it was a bit of a crazy week in the world of professional wrestling. I want to ask you something. This is kind of off the SmackDown subject, but since you're here, I want to know what you think. Did you watch AEW Revolution by any chance?
I did. I did catch the pay-per-view. I saw some good numbers. Actually, it was their highest. Since last year's All Out, All In, something like that for a buy rate.
Really?
It was a good spike for them for the actual buy rate. I take that as, obviously, congratulations to AEW. You want to see every promotion succeed, especially the top ones, as it means more high-profile positions, more jobs for the guys and the girls and everybody involved in professional wrestling. I would, though, if I'm AEW, I wouldn't necessarily take that as to mean that they are growing their audience, that they are expanding their brand. I think it just means that they have persuaded that loyal core group to actually pay than use a dirty stream. But that's not bad. Now how do we continue that trend? Because you've seen a lot of people talking about AEW's got 2 pay-per-views because they're still operating under that dinosaur, that archaic, barbaric, premium event system. They've got 2 of those where they're asking their fans, wrestling fans, to put out $50 each. Where we're on the road to WrestleMania, the biggest wrestling event of the year, and what's that going for? Is it still $5-7 there on the cock?
Yeah, absolutely. Or $7 on the flicks. You know what I mean? So either way, I mean, you're winning when it comes to WWE, and it's true, man. I mean, It's Colin Weiss song in the chat saying, happy birthday to Big Gay Hernandez, apparently.
Yes.
He says, my extremely way heterosexual life, mate. Colin, keep that to yourself, dude. Come on. But still, thank you for joining us. And of course, another happy gay birthday to Big Ray. But as you were saying, the pay-per-view numbers have gone up. Heck, even the attendance was up, it looked like, for Revolution. And man, they look way better being in, a large arena compared to, even though I like the venues they've been going to lately in terms of the small venues for Dynamite and Collision. I do think, perception's everything, as the vet would say. You know what I mean? So I just feel like they should maybe try to stick to big arenas, but I get it, man. If they're not selling them out, I totally understand why that would do the smaller, arena thing, even though the pay-per-view seemed to be getting pretty big crowds.
Well, I mean, it couldn't there be a happy medium there where, all right, for the weekly shows, especially the Collision, look at the markets you're in. That we've been around for 5 years. You have got market research. You know your ticket sales. If you're in a market where you're not able to sell a large arena, run those smaller ones. And then, yes, when you want people to hand over $50, when you want people to buy in, go all in, pun intended, then run the bigger venues for your bigger events.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But what I wanted to ask you initially, what do you think of the finish to Revolution? I mean, for me, that was the most stupidest, crappiest, just asinine finish I've ever seen to a wrestling pay-per-view in a long time, dude.
Well, is anybody really surprised? Because what we've gotten from this Death Rider program up to this point has been kind of a head scratcher. It is the one thing, you can say what you want about AEW, about Tony Khan, the product as a whole. One thing that has always stood true for them is their fan base, their loyalists. They will defend them to the end. And even this Death Rider program, everything that Moxley's been driving here, even that core, those loyalists to AEW have grown tired of this.
The Seikos?
They're even speaking out that we need to move on from this. Here's what the ending didn't faze me. It was kind of overbooked. They're trying to protect some
way
people.
Overbooked.
The Christian Cage thing isn't working. No one's interested in him cashing in, winning that championship. So let's just go ahead and get that out of the picture. Well, let's eliminate that there. So, all right, now we're going to move on with Mox. Here's what I'm hoping. We've got the big announcement. Next week, it's going to be Swerve Moxley for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. For me, this is an opportunity for them. And Paz and I talked about this. It's uploaded here on the Hami Media Group YouTube, the 10 count. Check it out. We talk about what can AEW do to remain relevant, especially on the road to WrestleMania when all eyes are on the big dogs over there. I threw it out there. This is the opportunity. Take two. Get it right this time. Swerve Strickland can represent and carry this company. In a moment here, we are going to talk about stars in pro wrestling. Swerve Strickland has what it takes to be a star. He has the ability inside the ring. He has the look, the charisma, the connection for crossover. He has the it factor. Let's hit the reset button, go back to what they should have done with his first title reign, strap a rocket to his ass, ride that pony, that show pony. Hey, we're in horse racing season, baby. Triple Crown. He is a thoroughbred, prize-winning champion, and that's how he should be treated. Tremendous crossover ability with him into the world of hip-hop, rap. He's relatable to people. You tell his backstory. He has a good presence about him that you can actually go grow your brand instead of worrying about 10, 12-star matches that no one gives a shit about.
Thank you. Spot on. Zane Vicious in the chat says, Revolution ended with that bullshit that Kenny Omega win because I actually work for a living, brother.
Hey, for those joining us, we know we are a little late here. We apologize for the technical difficulties there. Hey, but help us right now. We are live. Well, we appreciate the listens back on Channel Attitude, but if you're live with us here, go to your social media, let people know that we're here. We know the alerts went out. We might, if we get the chat buzzing here, we might have a very special guest coming at you a little bit later on in the show.
Guest?
Might. We might have a very guest doing a run in here with us.
Do I know this person, Rick?
Well, this guest has been on the air with me before. Over on Hitting Marks. And no, it is not Jargo. So, I'm not.
I was thinking that. I won't lie.
Huge ties to the Blue brand. So could share some relevance with us. And I know that this guest would like to share some thoughts about the current state of the women's division and what's happening on the road to WrestleMania. So help us spread the word. We'll look forward to that there. Might hold off if we don't have a lot in the chat. But hopefully we'll get there. But Jimmy, as we talked about, we want to try a few different things here. We're retooling, revamping the Smack Attack, our approach each and every weekend here on the show. You and I were talking about this. We both like the idea. Instead of just going to the sheets, going through those headlines, we're going to do some investigative work here. We're gonna keep our eye out each and every week on the social media, hitting that meaty part of the bone on social media for some true smack talk. Paying homage to your old show over on the BWC.
I like it.
Talk.
I absolutely like it.
This one jumped out to me, Jimmy. I know you got it prompt here. Was a little bit of what we just talked about. Go ahead and throw up there. Taz tweeted this out earlier this week.
Hold on a minute. Let me just find that for a second.
Well, it's
in small. It's in small.
That's why you got to rename them there, buddy. You got to rename them.
I know. I should have.
We said this is a test run for the new format.
I'll rename him next time.
Yeah, so we'll have everything better planned here. But Taz puts out here. He throws out a question. He is curious what a wrestling fan in 2025 thinks makes a star or success in pro wrestling. If you were a pro wrestler, what do you want most? There is no all of the above. You can only pick one. And Taz is listed championships, big money, TV time, be in AEW and WWE. I think he probably means and or there. Now, Jimmy, let me ask you real quick. Of these four, what would be the most important to you?
Oh, that's a tough one, man, because he chose literally, like, this is almost a trick question.
I thought it was a little weird how he did it as well, because to me, what makes a star in pro wrestling is none of these.
Exactly. I was going to say that to you, dude. No shit. I was going to say that to you, and that's why I'm a bit iffy. But since we've only got these four choices and I had to pick.
If I had to pick one of these, what would it be? I'm curious.
Oh, man. I mean, you'd probably have to go championships, maybe.
Really?
Only because
you're going with a prop that they put on you.
Right, I get that. See, and I knew you were going to say that. But the only reason why I say that is because that gives you the perception if they're a star or not. If they're multiple-time world champions, say, for example, wouldn't you think they're a star already by this point?
No, to me, it is very easy. Unless you're a total mark, which a lot of the fans would probably go that way. Because I
did the marks thing right there, just quietly.
So championships had 19%. It was in third place.
Wow.
Last place was to be in AEW and or WWE.
Right.
TV time won at 42. To me, the right answer is it was in second place, 27 is big money. You got to take that.
I was going to say that too. I was going to say that. It was either that or championships for me. But
you can pull that one. You can go ahead and pull that graphic down right now. We'll talk a little deeper on this one. But to me, none of those things make a star. When we go back and look at the great stars of the past, he's still here, but Cena, what was the last face of the place? The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, and hell, so many even what we would consider mid-Carters of the Rock and wrestling era, the Attitude era. The star, to be a star is to be recognized, to have crossover appeal.
Absolutely.
Even the top draws in professional wrestling right now, I'm sorry, we go out. We'll do the old Hameen test here. Go to the mall. If we can find one that's still open with more than 100 people at it. But, you go out anywhere where people are socializing, go to a local festival, some kind of concert, and you do what they call the Q test, right?
Right.
And are they recognizable? hardly anyone from professional wrestling, and I'm sorry, especially AEW at this point, unless they've had a significant rub from WWE, is going to be recognized by the general public. To me, that's what is what defines the star, is your crossover, your marketability, your brand appeal to professional wrestling.
Absolutely. I mean, that's spot on what you just said. And that's why I found it interesting that he he put those four answers up there.
I think Taz, because the way that reading this out loud and looking at it when we had it up there,
he's almost treating everyone like
I think he intentionally wrote it that way for the fans to kind of to say, okay, this is how silly what fans actually think is important to the guys and girls that are working inside of the business. Now, go ahead and throw up the one there from Bully Ray.
From the Bully himself.
From the Bully, baby. The big man from LFG, Legends and Future Greats. The bad guy on that show. So Bully just recently put this out, and he was, as we were talking about Revolution, he actually refused. This is funny. I don't know if you saw this over on Busted Open. He refused to review the MJF Hangman because they were kicking out of Tombstones. And he just said it irked him so much to his core and his faith in professional wrestling and how they should protect it that he wasn't going to review it. But here, Bully Ray throwing out there, really enjoyed the backstage with MJF and Hangman. Can't wait till one day when both of them go to WWE and learn the correct way to become stars. You got to pull that one down. What do you think about that? Because, we were just talking about how diehard, how loyal, how they will go out there and die for AEW. Those fans are. Man, you can imagine how they lost their minds that these guys are already stars. How dare Bully? He's only going after them because he's working for WWE.
100%.
What do you think about a statement like that from Bully?
Well, first of all, you're right. He's only doing this because he's under the WWE paybook.
Really? Is he, or is he actually telling a hard truth here that because Tony thinks that wrestling is over, that thinks that his style is over, that it is anchoring, that it is a major anchor around the necks of some of these great talents like MJF. I'm not going to say Hangman belongs in there, but hell, he would be much better off in a promotion, a platform, a brand like WWE than AEW, wouldn't he? Are you there, Jimmy? Did you freeze on me? We were talking about them storms coming in. Jimmy, are you there? Jimmy, are you there? Well, we're getting that gorgeous close-up of him. He was mad earlier. Took him a while to figure out his camera angles. He's usually sitting back. He's calm, cool, relaxed, where he can hit that smoke. Mike, is it the entire show for us, or just Jimmy, or am I still streaming over there? I mean, you give me a heads up there in the chat if you guys can hear me. All right, looks like Jimmy has dropped out here. Just getting me RBV. Hopefully you guys can still hear me out there. I'll continue talking here. It's just Jimmy. Thank you, Mr. Martin. So let me prompt up here what I've got as we were talking about out there. Bully, obviously our first graphic that we showed for those of you guys who just joined us was Taz put up a poll asking fans what they thought was in what means to be a star or success, and which would they go after if they were in the business. It was championships, big money, TV time, or just to be in AEW, WWE. All right, Jimmy just sent me a message here. All right. So anyway, he got kicked out there. He's somehow blaming me that it only happens when he's on here with me, but that's all right. But so Taz sending out the tweet there. Fans, they were saying TV time, which is such, and I think Taz was working them there, such a huge mark answer. Obviously, it's money. Number one, you're in business. Any of us, you want that money. It's not about the prop championships. It's not about winning matches, the TV time. Working for those major companies. I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. You're going to work for those major companies. You're going to likely make more money. But you could get out there, bust your ass on the indies, doing the conventions, one of the great conventions coming up here in a couple of weeks. My good friends at the Squared Circle Expo up in the Indianapolis area, they have got that place. It is loaded. Over 80 stars are going to have for that thing. It's at the end of April. I think the 28th, 29th, some limited tickets still available. It's a Friday, Saturday event. They just announced Friday only. They're going to have Will Ospreay in. I saw their chat. People going insane for that one. Not exactly my cup of tea. I don't know, maybe standing in line for 4 hours to meet Will Ospreay, but hey, people went ballistic. They went crazy, super excited about it. So, Bully Ray's talking about, he also tweets out this week talking about, loved the backstage segment with MJF and hang person Adam Page. But he said, hey, he can't wait. He couldn't wait till they get an opportunity to go to a promotion, a platform like WWE and learn how to be true stars. And I think there's a lot to be said there. But, immediately, so many of the AEW faithfuls, they go on the attack or on the defensive there on behalf of Tony Khan and his company. You're only saying this because you work for WWE, of course, with Bully Ray, with the LFG show, and they're already stars in AEW. They're not. It is. We know where their audience is at. Where they're floating around, 600,000 or so, 600 to 700. Absolutely cool. Bully Ray's not wrong. You're going to go to that bigger company, that wider audience. You got more bang for the buck behind you. And yeah, you're going to have a better opportunity to be a bigger star. Now, another tweet that we were going to have propped up here is kind of run with our social media smack talk theme that we're going to start bringing at you each and every week. The old Hurricane, I believe he's still he's working with WWE, correct? Isn't he an agent there? He tweeted out, and if Jimmy were here, I'd have him throw up this graphic here for you. But Hurricane tweets out, tearing wrestlers or wrestling companies down doesn't help the wrestling business. This goes for fans, wrestlers, and vets alike. I think, a little bit of a decent point that I agree with Hurricane Helms here. Yeah, to tear down any aspect of the business, especially if you're currently working in the business, if it was a major part of your life, or if you are a fan on any walk, if you've been here, your entire life, if you're someone like me in their mid-40s, it started watching way back, around WrestleMania 3. It's seen all these different generations. If you're a new fan, if someone that's older than me, that's before Vince McMahon destroyed the territory, if you remember going back to the territory days, no matter what that case might be, and again, if you're in the business, if you're a veteran, a fan, we should want to protect it and promote it. Put the best possible light, the best foot forward that we can, so that other people will want to come in and be a part of this incredible genre. To me, pro wrestling, it is the end all be all, the greatest form of entertainment that has ever existed. And I've used this mindset and as a pitch when I've gone out, when I was promoting local shows, when I work for indie promotions, and I'm out there busting my hump, trying to build us some business-to-business networking, trying to get people to back our shows. Pro wrestling is not an easy sell. But I always entered into the mindset, one of the most powerful things that I remember hearing, and I use that as motivation. I use this as fuel. I heard Bret Hart say this. I don't know if he was the first to ever say it, but I heard it from him in an interview. And, how about that? Checking out the chat over there. So in an interview, Bret Hart said, if those inside the business, if we don't believe it, then how the hell is anyone else going to believe it? That's how you sell pro wrestling. So as Helms is saying here, don't tear it down. We need to build it up. And I completely agree with that across the board, from the guys and the girls that are out there busting their humps inside of professional wrestling today, to the veterans that paved the way, to all of us fans all around. Now we'll switch gears because I think that he's maybe where he's wrong or where Mr. Helms is being a little sensitive. Jimmy, just catch you up. Just switch the gears. The chat we were talking about how everyone kind of thought Bully was right. How WWE is that bigger, more powerful platform. AEW isn't as over as they'd like to be. But also with Mr. Helms here, talking about tearing wrestlers and wrestling companies down doesn't help. There is still a lot of room and need for constructive criticism from the vets, from these different platforms. You get it here on the Hameen Media Group. From the vet, from Hameen. That doesn't mean they don't respect everybody that has put their body, what they've gone through to stamp all those notches on their bump card.
No, and there is truth to it with what Bully Racing. I was going to say that before until my computer crashed. Yeah, literally. Only happens on this show, man. I have no idea why, but anyway, that's not here or there. There is some truth to it, and yes, WWE is the be-all and end-all, let's face it, in professional wrestling, right? It is what it is. But AEW is on a big platform, to be fair. They are on TNT, they are on TBS, they are on the Turner broadcasting networks, after all. And I think that if this company was actually booked right and done well enough, you will bring eyeballs and you can create big stars, mainstream stars. But so in saying that, I do think part of the reason why it's just not happening in AEW is because of the way it's run. You know what I mean?
Well, outside that, so I mean, there is much, I think there's a lot bigger conversation that can be had there. And it almost goes back to what Taz was asking fans, what they feel is important. And I think what you're going to say right now, what you believe is important, Jimmy, is going to be completely different than what I believe is important to success for AEW. So you're talking, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I think it's great right now. They got a very nice deal. They do have some nice platforms in TBS and TNT. The Max deal is there, so for the streaming outlet to help grow. I'm not a major fan of live pro wrestling on streaming platforms right now. They need to figure something out to hold our attention, but that's another conversation. They have that there. That is in place. That is a good foundation for them. You're probably going to now talk about their product. I am going to talk more about their promotion marketing. Or lack of.
It's their marketing. They've got no marketing department, dude. I'm convinced. They don't know how to promote any wrestler properly. They don't know how to market anything properly. Their PR team is non-existent, in my opinion.
I don't think there is one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't exist. So it all comes down to how these companies really ran. For whatever reason, I don't know if Tony feels like he knows everything and every aspect when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. I mean, he could be that narcissistic as far as we know, where he does think, I know how to market. I'm a numbers guy. I do this and that for the soccer clubs, for the football teams, and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, what they always claim, like his jobs there were the analytics, correct?
Right.
That he was a great numbers guy. All right. So, I mean, that doesn't tell me that he has any involvement in how much merchandise the Jaguars or the football club is moving, or how much advertising that they're. I'll tell you this, just a little side note here, because I regularly go over to AEW and I check their career section. I see if there's anything there that could help fit. I've sent in a couple resumes.
Really?
Yeah, I've sent in. I actually created my own Titantron intro, or that I would be all elite with my resume highlights on there.
No way! I've got to see that, dude.
I'll send it over to you. I'll email it over to you.
Because that sounds.
Because a few that I was really hoping for was just like a live event coordinator. And I had proposed inside of that job, I wanted to be somebody that would be in charge of, or, not in charge of, but on a team, or help build something where you go into a town 2 weeks ahead of time with some of these legends that they had under contract, a Mark Henry, a Big Show, and you you do some guerrilla marketing, you pound the pavement and promote the things.
Yeah, but
JB. Yeah, JB. I am cooking it over here. This is my prison mic, baby.
I saw, I saw that.
Yes, this is
Thank you for
this
joining
is
us, JB. Where have
this
you
is my
been, bro?
tribute to Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude! What
But
the
not to
hell
get
was that?
distracted on it. But yeah,
Oh
for
my god!
AEW, for AEW, they have got to go far beyond simple storytelling in the ring. But yes, they need a better presentation. Well, last week everybody was stabbing each other with scissors.
Oh,
Everybody's got
but
scissors.
wait, what was the blow off match? It was just a normal 1, 2, 3 number one contenders match. They do
Right.
things backwards, Rick.
Well, they lost me that we're having contract signings for number one contendership matches now. But
It's ridiculous, bro. How's that a blow off match?
We both grew up watching in the 80s, early 90s. So like 10 years of Bruce of RBV walking around with shears, clippers, scissors, and we never saw anyone get stabbed. But now it's like a weekly occurrence across the board in AEW. So there's a lot that they have got to fix to get right, to get things going there.
It's an understatement, Rick. Absolute understatement. I think Tony needs to just, bite the bullet, hire a marketing team for crying out loud, get a PR team, which feels non-existent. None of these departments feel like there's any. Like, there isn't. Their merch is pathetic. That's another thing. They're not doing their merch even right. There's a lot of things that AEW need to do right. As a matter of fact, me and Dr. Jeff Lippman actually did a show about this, and it's called AEW Outside Interference. We did two episodes of that. One was a couple of years back on the PWC network, and one was more recently right here on the HMG one, on the HMG network, where we speak about everything wrong about AEW and what they need to do to actually improve things. So, that's quite interesting. And Kenny F. and Powers, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, we got the chat filling up now. Thank you guys for joining us a little bit late here on what's here in Ohio. In the Midwest, we're getting pounded by some storms, Jimmy, so it's a little wet down there, down under. Down where?
I can't
down
wait
under.
for it to rain,
little wet
over here.
Hey, give us a share. Let people know that we're here. Anyway,
please.
talking about a little wet down under. Give me my Mandy Rose. Give me my Mandy Rose graphic.
A little wet down under.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let her talk to you. Mandy Rose. This is from wherever we picked this one up. Again, one of our new little features that is just going to the sheets and the headlines. We're looking for that trash talk, that smack talk on social media. Mandy Rose says she makes 10 times more money now than what she made in WWE in 1 year. Jimmy T, are you buying that?
Yes, I am buying that. I do believe it. I don't know about 10 times more, but let's be real, Rick. Imagine she did a proper OnlyFans, like proper OnlyFans, if you know what I mean. Dude, she'd be a bazillionaire. I'm telling you.
You know, it would be interesting. I would love to see the breakdown. And I'm not doubting her in any way. She's got the goods to go on for days. Hey, I did my research before this show, so I spent extensive time researching this over on Google Images, checking out everything she's got going on. I would like to see how many of her subscribers, her subs, we got subs, we got it all for you here on this week's Smack Attack. How many of her subs followed over from professional wrestling?
Oh, you'd think probably majority of it, right? You'd think.
Right?
Yeah, I mean
that key demo that has all that disposable income right now is working out all that green to see her spread them.
Can you imagine? Especially the Seekers, like, oh my god! I mean, come on.
Well, you hear about this across the board, like teachers, professional types, office workers, teachers that quit their jobs because they have made so much on their OnlyFans. And just selling that smut. Sex still sells.
Sex will always sell, Rick.
Yes. She was really, and Mandy was one of the last in 10 years to really get away with on WWE programming with selling sex.
Absolutely. And I mean, like JB says in the chat, it's like 90s Sunny in AOL, who was the number one most downloaded female at one point back in the 90s.
Yeah. until she went batshit crazy and started killing people with her car.
And she turned ugly too, pretty bad. I mean, eesh.
Well, drugs will do that to you.
Well, absolutely. But also, Zane says
drugs and getting smacked in the face with every dong in the locker room will do that to you.
Getting smacked in the face with every dong. Anyway, Zane thinks that controversy sells more, though. I mean, like Eric Bischoff would say, controversy,
controversy
cash,
equals
right?
cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with her here, and she's even. She operates under the name Mandy Sachs now, so she's even putting it out there. Even her name is sexual.
I mean, Sachs. But like the professor says, the original Vato Loco Ricardo Vickery.
You know it. You got it there. Oh, I was gonna save my heat glasses earlier. Should we just go with those with the whole thing here?
Yeet.
Yes.
But you're right. Her last name Sachs, and that's chopped in half. By the way, she knows what she's doing because really she's got a full blown Italian last name. It's not just
Sacamano.
Yeah, so I'm sure there's a lot of sacks dropping to the floor when they see Mandy. I still feel that WWE though are absolutely they should bring her back, dude.
All right, so I got the yeet glasses on. Hey, JP over there is asking a question about. We'll switch some gears here. We'll take care of the chat. We are here for the people.
Read it out, Rick. It's yours.
So there we go. This is from our good friend JB, handicapper extraordinary. You guys want to start paying attention to his social media as March Madness approaches. Selection Sunday tomorrow. JB knows I'm going to be hitting them up each and every week for them hot picks for on our March to the Final Four and a champion. We said you can answer whatever, but question for us here. JB sees that the IWC talking shit about Jey Uso. Says the guy is clearly over. His merch sales are great. I feels he's a little shaky on the mic, but he puts on decent matches. He is all for the yeet. Let's get our thoughts. Jimmy, what are you feeling the yeet?
I get what he's saying. He's more than shaky on the mic, though, JB. I'm just saying he's quite shaky on the mic, unless he believes in what he's saying. When he's passionate about something, it comes across as more legit. His matches are fine. I am a fan of his, but let's be real, JB. Is it his song that's more over than himself? I'm just saying, everyone loves yeeting, but is it because of him or because of a catchphrase and a song?
Those all go into the package. I think he's all right on the work. He's got him. The problem is he got to work on that cardio because he goes out there and puts a lot into that entrance. That entrance in inside of itself is a
he gasses himself out.
Mega deal. It is a huge start. He's gassed doing that entrance. I think it's so great when he comes in from the veranda through the audience. It gives the people there in the arena something to get excited about. You're out there looking around. Where is he at? Where is he coming through? You want to be a part of that. The kids absolutely love him. Paz was telling me he just took his son to the MSG show this past week. The kids are yeet maniacs, baby. They love it. The merch was fine. You could put the yeet in so many different colored T-shirts. This is a big movement for them. It's a big time for him. Great to see he's getting the payoff with it.
Well, let me ask you this, actually, Rick. Me and MSG on a Raw last week, not last week, the week before, where he was filling in for Big Ray.
The birthday boy.
Yeah. He thinks that the Gunther Jey Uso match at WrestleMania will not main event night one.
It should not. That? I agree wholeheartedly. It not only will it not, it should not. I think what you're going to get with it, it is going to open night one.
That's
what you're going to have a hot, amazing crowd for that thing. Great visuals to kick things off. What a way to set a tempo. The way things are looking right now, I know it pisses off a lot of people because I've had this conversation in some different, chat circles. You got to put your biggest stars in those main events, correct?
Absolutely.
Night two, you obviously go with John Cena, chasing history, the big heel turn, the new baby face, leading man of the company, Cody Rhodes. Night one, the match obviously not announced yet. We know it's coming.
Reigns.
It's Punk, Rollins, and Reigns.
But does that not make the World Heavyweight Championship sort of degraded a little bit, man? In your
No.
opinion?
Why?
And if I
It's
was Jey
already a
Uso,
second heavyweight
I
championship.
understand that. I get that, but it's supposed to be equivalent, is it not?
Yeah, yeah, they could tell you that all day, but no one's buying that BS.
I get that's true.
And we're
Neither
living
do
in
I.
an era. We're living in an era where it's go on first or go on last. Roman Reigns has already come out and said that, as a top guy, I'm either going on first or I'm going on last.
Right. No, you're
So
right. I just feel that Jay, is going to shoot his confidence a little bit, man.
the only thing I would go with that is that got a closable roof there, the Vegas stadium that they're in
I'm
out
not
there?
sure. I actually don't know. I know it's new, but I haven't really sussed it out, if you know what I mean.
I just want, because sometimes if it's in a wide open stadium, it does take away the luster of some of those grand entrances. When you have like the Undertaker making an entrance and it's still daylight out.
That's the worst.
So maybe because with the lighting and all that, but it's going to be such an incredible spectacle with 90,000 yeets setting that thing off for WrestleMania. It's going to be a moment, but no, I don't think it closes in any case.
It's interesting to see what happens, man. That's for sure. But in saying that, though, Rick, are we even going to get a sellout for Mania?
Yeah, they'll fill that thing up, man. They
so
will.
too.
And as you say that is a great transition. I'm gonna pop these bad boys off. I have a little trouble seeing with them. That is a great transition there, Jimmy T. We are going to turn our focus now to the Mom, Dad, Scout, Bluey, Blue brand conversation here for today. Like I worked in your Australian dog down there.
That's why I laughed.
They're a little Australian puppy that the whole world loves.
You know what's funny, dude? I actually didn't know who Bluey was. It was an American that told me. One of our listeners, I think it was Frank's Pickle Barrel's ass. I actually didn't know who Bluey was. I kid you not.
I watched Bluey for years, and it was just a couple months ago that I learned that Bluey is a girl. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found that out 2 weeks ago. No shit. That's funny that you bring that up. I was arguing with my significant other about it. I go, no, it sounds like a guy, though. Does he not sound like a dude?
No, it sounds like a cartoon freaking dog. I don't know, but I just figured if we're teaching life lessons to children about how they should grow up, that it would be a male and not a female. So that's just my old sexist ways.
You know why they're doing this shit, bro. Like, come on. You know how
all right, Jimmy. So, all right, you're talking about having trouble selling out WrestleMania.
Right.
So I think it's a great transition as we start talking about this week's SmackDown. Again, we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're not going to run you through. We're going to shake it up, pal. We're not going to run you through segment by segment. We're going to hit the big talking points. We're going to look at the focal points for the road to WrestleMania. But, hey, they're on. It's the European swing, baby. They are overseas right now. Hot crowds, big numbers, packing arenas. Barcelona, Spain. And these fans, man, they are hyped. This is the first time that they've gotten SmackDown.
Yeah, first time ever, as a matter of fact. And it's funny how everyone's trying to pronounce Barcelona as Barcelona. Instead of saying the S, it's like with a th, like Barcelona. But it looked like a real international crowd too, dude. I saw all sorts of different flags from all sorts of countries, except the arena looked kind of old and sort of, I don't know. It looked kind of crappy to me, but.
Yeah, you say that about Madison Square Garden too, you son of a bitch. Hey, that gives you that historic feel.
I do, because let's be real, MSG's old and I mean, come on, like it's pretty old, but it's MSG though. Insane.
All right, but anyway, we are getting these hotter crowds. They are expanding business around the world regularly, not just doing like these swings for house shows and Raw and SmackDowns. I mean, you're getting premium live events around the globe. Do you think, Jimmy, that there is, no pun intended here, because we just got announced that I believe St. Louis is getting backlash after WrestleMania, but are we getting a backlash for fans that are realizing, hey, even down there, you get 2 a year. Why do you need to travel to the States when you know you're going to get premium events just on the other side of your country that are going to have a WrestleMania type energy and feel because they want to make them feel that way for each country? So we don't no longer need the entire world to come to America. They're not coming to America anymore today for WrestleMania because the WWE is going to them I think that is a backlash that they're facing with these low ticket sales. That, and baby, they're in Vegas. Everything costs more. People are freaking out about some of these ticket prices.
Well,
we just had a Super Bowl there, and you should have seen those prices. They were ridiculous. I think it's really seriously time for WWE to explore the option of holding a WrestleMania outside of the States or outside of North America.
Okay, I know what you're saying because of Canada, obviously, as well.
No, screw Canada. Screw Canada right now. I saw Kaz over there in the chat. Sorry, buddy. I love
Kaz,
you.
man. Yeah, we love you, bro. Fuck.
No, we love Kaz, but
absolutely.
Screw Canada right now.
Yeah, no offense, Kaz.
Thinking they're going to flex a muscle on us in America like we give a crap if they're going to cut off our power to New York. We'll just come take it tariffs? Over. Yeah.
Yeah.
The pirates, I told you about the pirates that came across Lake Erie were trying to come after me.
You're a character. But to be fair, Canada pretty much gets the same amount of shows as anywhere in the US does. And all the major shows, including WrestleMania. And they've had some historic WrestleManias, to be fair. But as far as the rest of the world goes and getting WrestleMania, I don't know, dude, because the thing is, depending on where they do it, it's also the time zones. Would they lose out on money when it comes to that? Well, then again, actually, they probably wouldn't because it's not like they're on pay-per-view anymore, correct? So I don't think it would actually matter. Yeah. When you put it like that, it probably wouldn't matter where they do it at this point.
There would probably be some logistics they'd need to look into with the Saturday, Sunday, the 2-day manias and even beyond the 2-day because you've got so much going on. I mean, really it becomes a 4 or 5 day festival,
right? Exactly.
With 4 or 5 days of programming. You'd have to look at those logistics, but when they run, let's say Saudi or when they run, you and I did a live watch along last time they were down in Prod, down under there. There is a lot of positive feedback from people here in the States that like watching on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And you're not committed to that old $50 pay-per-view watch along. Now you can go anytime, hop on the cock and watch the playback, if you miss something.
No, you're right. And I've seen a lot of people that actually, say the same thing. You're right, completely. But in saying that, I feel like WrestleMania is very Americana, but if you know what I mean. Like it's, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like look, man, I'm all for it, obviously, as an international fan, clearly, right? But I also understand if it was never to happen at any other country other than anywhere in North America, except for Mexico, let's be honest. It's not like I doubt they would ever do a Mania in Mexico. It's more between Canada. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But it's always between Canada and the US, to be fair. But so, yeah, I'm down for it. But I think everything else, is up for the taking, including SummerSlam, for example. Rumble now is going to be in Saudi next year, the actual Rumble, for example. So I think the thing with TKO, and particularly even UFC, because they're following the UFC model, I've noticed, WWE, with doing all these international shows.
It's almost like they're the same company.
Wow, yeah. Who would have thought, right? I mean,
you're right.
But no, really, they are taking a UFC sort of play over here by the way they do it, because UFC doesn't hesitate to do any international show, no matter what the pay-per-view is. We've had a huge, actually, we hold the record for the highest attendance, the highest attended UFC event ever, which was the one where Ronda Rousey lost her first ever fight against Holly Holm, which was a huge deal at the time. So, yeah, I mean, it's not out of the cards, that's for sure. But Mania would have to take a lot of money, dude, because the way things work now, everyone is literally, like, paying for these shows, dude.
Right, so let the bidding war begin. You don't think there'd be some major bids internationally to try to host the first WrestleMania outside of North America?
Can you imagine the money they would be offering, too? I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about making money, right? So fuck it. The world is getting smaller now, Rick. It really is. It feels that way too, in many ways. So I think, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if money talks, bullshit walks, Rick.
I wholeheartedly agree. With this global expansion, it is a great thing for the company. I've got stock with them. I love seeing what I'm seeing there. It has them up on this major upswing, but I do think that is becoming a major deterrent for a lot of people traveling to the States for such an event like that. Outside of that, there could be a number of other things with the political clout and all that, some heat on everybody, especially us right now.
Should it really bother anybody? I mean, yeah, we know who WWE is affiliated with. We all know this. But
no, I think it might just, a lot of people just might not feel comfortable traveling to the United States right now.
I wouldn't be that way, man.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the truth. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility.
There was a time, actually, believe it or not, Rick, that people were getting warned that it was dangerous to go to the US because of the political bullshit that's going on. But I don't buy that shit at all, dude.
Yeah, we've been trying to tell the Mexicans that all the time, but they keep on coming.
Wow, that's a whole different thing altogether. It's still political though, but you're right, absolutely. They've got no shame.
Well, anyway, the Barcelona crowd absolutely hot. You see that when they travel internationally. So we're going to get a couple weeks of this because all the television shows are going to be going across Europe there.
So for 2 weeks, so even next week's, I know Raw's coming from Brussels, for example, this Monday, and I think it's live. Was it not live?
Yeah. What they're doing, which is kind of cool over there with the Netflix, is whenever it airs there, they will stream that live on Netflix, so you can catch it here in the afternoon, and then obviously it'll be available for rewatch immediately following that.
So what about on the USA Network then for SmackDown, for example?
No, they'll still tape delay and hold that thing here domestically or inside of the States, I believe, until the 8 o'clock airtime.
All right, so everyone else gets it live but the US, basically, unless you use a VPN, and get onto Netflix.
There we go. All right, so Jimmy, is this week, again, we're not going to go segment by segment here. We're going to break down some of the major talking points. We're going to group things together as they kind of flow throughout the show. So the first thing that I want to start dissecting here, and it does kick off the show, so that's where we're going to jump in. LA Knight, he comes out. He is getting this crowd hot. I mean, you could have run anybody out there. They were hungry for this. Even he says, man, it's going to be a hard one tonight. They need to make a little more noise. You got LA Knight out there. Here comes Big Jim. He's got a mic. Now we got, he said, all right, so Big Jim comes out. He wants to put it out there. His bro has that moment. He's going to WrestleMania. He's got the big shot. For Big Jim to be able to make a WrestleMania moment for himself, he's going to go out there and throw down the challenge to LA Knight for the United States Championship. But they're cut off. We got more Samoans on the way to the ring, and guess what? They've got microphones as well. We got Solo, we got Tama, we got Fatu. They're running it down. Solo, he wants that opportunity at that U.S. Championship. The commentary team's putting over that if anybody should get one, maybe it's Fatu. I mean, he's the one causing the most damage right now. Here we go. Now we got the big man, that big SOB, Braun Strowman. He interjects himself into this situation. We get set up with a 6-man on the spot. But I guess really what we need to talk about here, Jimmy, is this U.S. title picture, the cluster that we have going on. What sort of match do you think we're going to get here? Is this going to be one of those possibilities that we see regularly at WrestleMania for that big cluster? We need something to hang up above a ladder, and we're going to throw a bunch of big old bodies at it, let them sort it out. Is that where we're going here with the U.S. title? And I'll let you go ahead and jump on that before I throw in a couple other names on you.
Well, if we went a few years ago, I would say absolutely. But now that Money in the Bank has got its own pay-per-view, I don't know if they will go that far.
We still, because Money in the Bank has its own pay-per-view, they still try to find a way to fill that void of getting a lot of people into a match.
That's true.
With some stakes on it, and they've throw some furniture out there, and make it a match.
I mean, okay. I mean, that's a possibility by the way SmackDown was, but keep in mind, we do have a long time till WrestleMania still, so I wouldn't think too deep of it just yet. Ask me the same question next week if we still have some.
We're under 5 weeks away, buddy.
Still quite a bit. There's still quite a bit of time, dude. I think.
Well, so what are we going to do with all these guys?
I mean, there's the Andre Battle Royal, right? That happens every year.
No, I don't think. When was the last they had that last year? Because it disappeared because of the COVID, because they couldn't get all those people.
You're right. I can't remember if it happened last year, and it could have happened. Oh no, it happened on SmackDown, dude.
Well, and even when they were having the big cluster fudging matches, they usually had the battle royal because WrestleMania is about getting as many bodies on that card as possible. So usually have that in some kind of kickoff show, and they still love the big train wreck of the ladder match, and it's usually one of these mid-card championships that get put in there. I mean, we
could. And
well, all right. So let's look at here, and we can kind of continue to dissect this because I want to throw in a couple more names here as we're talking about the blue brand mid card here. So we do have the 6-man setup. It's going to be Big Jim. It's going to be LA Knight and Braun taking on the Samoans, Bloodline 2.0, Tonga, Solo, Fatu. Hey, I was really surprised here. Braun Strowman getting a little love, getting the pin at the end, but.
What's up with that?
Oh, it didn't last long. All right. So, hey, let's not give him his flowers here because he absolutely gets mauled by the Wolverine there. Fatu destroys big, bad Braun Strowman. And to the point that Fatu's leaving. He's still hungry. He still wants more. He comes back and puts more of a beat down on Braun Strowman. And then later on in the show, he sets the challenge. We're going to get those guys next week.
Yeah, well, this should be a no disqualification match, in my opinion, because they've already had matches. They've been feuding for the last few weeks, you know what I mean? I think Braun's just going to get fed to Fatu again. And
so do they write Braun out of this scenario? Does he not have a spot at WrestleMania?
Honestly, man, I wouldn't even bother with him. I'm not a fan of his at all, dude. Like I've said this over the years. I think he's just a dope for me. Yeah, he looks good.
I'm not going to argue that they have completely swung and missed on Braun Strowman. Once you beat down and embarrass the Giant, it's a big man like that. It's so hard to bring him up. Real quick, a pop over here. Cold Blooded says, were they really big at booing Jimmy? Zane, Jimmy T would definitely get booed. I pop for that. I like that. But yeah, they have destroyed Braun Strowman, and it should be criminal what they've done with a big man like that. A guy that size completely exposed him.
They've got a history of doing this. Remember when Big?
But the question I'm asking you, the question isn't, Jimmy T, do you like Braun Strowman? The question is, what is his role at WrestleMania? Is he not included here? Because to me, the answer potentially is to go back to some big old kind of cluster of a multi-man match to fit all these guys in.
I'm with Cold Blooded personally. It's time for Braun to take another sensitivity break. I mean, me again. Okay, look, I won't be biased. I'll drop that. Okay, yeah, they probably will do something with him. Whether it's something serious, probably not. It's not going to be anything important with whatever he does. At this point, he's just used as a crash test dummy. At this point.
All right. So what do they do then with the U.S. title here? We've got Knight as the champion. We know that Big Jimmy Uso, he wants that opportunity. Everybody involved here, Solo wants it. Fatu wants it. I'm going to add another name into this that got involved in another program. Nakamura, the former champ, was looking for a rematch. We've also got rumor, though, that he is on his way out of the company.
I've heard that also. I'm hearing that they could potentially release him. I do know one thing about Nakamura.
Or it wasn't released, it was just not renewed, correct?
Or whatever the case. I've heard the same thing. The thing about Nakamura, though, he's not homesick, and he actually enjoys living in the US and loves surfing, dude. So I don't know if he's would be happy about that. But the thing about him, and again, to be fair, they've screwed him up too. Let's be honest, Rick. They screwed him up, and he's just sort of going by the paces. You know what I mean?
I don't think that he's in the same conversation of a screw up with a Braun Strowman. And Braun is a unique individual. He's an absolute monster.
At least Braun is being champion, though, dude. Unlike Nakamura.
You and your championships, those are so valuable.
I'm just saying, it's perception's everything, regardless if it's a prop or not. It's still a perception thing. You know what I mean? Wrestling is very much a perception thing. Zane says, "Stop fighting."
Leather chair, baby. Got that new leather chair. But yeah, so I don't know with Nakamura. There's so many different rumors with, going around with him is that he could potentially just be going back to Japan for some dates. So we will see there. It is going to be interesting because, I mean, what would you do with Jimmy? I think we're going to get some kind of multi-man match out of this thing. Yeah.
No one cares about Braun anymore, dude. I mean, I'm telling you.
They're going to try to find him a spot on that card, though. So it's gonna. I mean, my question: we've already got. Again, we talked about the going to be announced triple threat: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. We've already got the women's championship triple threat. It doesn't make much sense for me to just have a fatal four or another triple threat for the U.S. championship.
I agree, and I'm still not sure. I think the jury's out still on what they're going to do with the U.S. Championship. They are teasing a multi-man something, it seems.
Well, real quick, we got Nakamura got involved in the business of Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. It looks like we're going to get a one-on-one with Drew and Priest, which I like. Those who can go out there, two big men slugging it out. It's a very personal thing. Sometimes those are the best stakes, when it is beyond a championship, when it is going to be something personal. Again, what's going to happen with Nakamura? The other one, the big development, the main event here from SmackDown. But this could also lead towards one of those big cluster, hang the titles above the ring, let everybody go at it, is the tag division. We'll dive into that there, but we have new Tag Team Champions once again crowned. The Street Profits take the titles off of DIY. That was your main event of the evening. Jimmy, did you like the call?
Yeah, absolutely. This should have been done a long time ago, if anything, dude. Yeah, I do like the decision. The right team are the champions, although we've said this on multiple occasions. The tag division really still needs a shake-up, though, Rick.
Yeah, to me, when I was in my notes, I'm looking at that U.S. title thinking, could this be where they try to group people together? I'm leaning more towards the tag division is where we're going to get this. I had two thoughts watching this because they kept flashing to, you get the Motor City Machine Guns. They make an appearance here talking to DIY. You had the former LWO members, right? They pop into the Street Profits when they're making their way. You had Pretty Deadly watching in the back. So there is a lot of tag teams there on SmackDown involved in the Blue Brand. But when I saw them all interacting here together, it was very clear that the only ones worth a damn are the Street Profits.
Look at everyone else, dude. Honestly. And I hate to say this because I know there's Pretty Deadly fans out there, but they're just a bunch of fairies, all right? There's two fairies in Pretty Deadly, and the rest are below 5'10".
Yeah, I guess. Well, and even outside of that, where was the disconnect? You've been watching a lot longer since they made their debuts in WWE, and I know a lot of people were concerned that they gave them the belts too quick. Where was the disconnect with the Motor City Machine Guns?
I think many people actually did it, other than the Marktards, of course. I don't think many people knew who the hell they were.
All right, so they just made a mistake. They thought that they were, because they were over inside of the bubble, that they were immediately going to catch on, and the general WWE audience just didn't know who they were.
They had no idea. If you remember when they debuted, I don't know if you actually saw that show or not. Scotty Woodford, Freedom Fairies. Yeah, they're just fairies. But yeah, if you notice, when they first came out, no one knows what the hell this raise your fist bullshit is. You know what I mean? Their actual song was shut up, Zane. Anyway, their song, no one has a clue what the hell it is. The original TNA song, everyone knew what that was. If they came out to that, which they could have used, considering the TNA WWE partnership that they're doing right now, maybe there would have been a more receptive response. But other than that, no one knows who these guys are. They just come across as two small dudes saying "raise your fist" when they come out. Boom, boom.
All right, so nobody was raising the roof. Nobody was pumping it up. And I think, you know, and I obviously we you and I have talked about it over the couple weeks we've been doing the show here together with DIY. They are, it's not that they're not over, they just somehow drain every bit of energy out of every arena that they have stepped into over the last couple of weeks.
No one cares. Did they care in Barcelona, Spain? They didn't care about him. No one even reacted to him, dude. It felt like I didn't hear it.
You know it's bad because here's one thing I can tell that I'm beginning to learn with, you know, when they're overseas, when those crowds get bored with what's kind of happened, they just kind of take it upon themselves. So they start into the chants and the singing. They weren't even doing that.
They weren't even doing that, dude. That should tell you something. You know what I mean? If the fact that they couldn't even get up for that, not even sit there and do a Mexican flag, like you said, the ole chant is your go-to for Europeans when they're bored, basically, right? They weren't even doing that.
Yeah, so, we caught that a couple times there in the show, but yeah, it was, I mean, DIY, and especially it seems Gargano, has just fallen so flat right now. I don't know if there's any coming back for them. And you look at this tag division, I feel the same, except for the Street Profits. You know, they've been wanting to smoke. They have been delivering the fire these last couple of weeks. You know, they've been able to give different promos from the pre-tapes and all that. They have that great, you look at them, they're defined in their look. You know they're pissed off. You know they're mad. You really shouldn't like or trust these guys, and they're there to kick ass. And when it comes to everything that, you know, we listed off about the quality of that star power, they've got it. They check all the boxes.
They do, but the only thing that worries me, they've done a lot of start and stopping with the Street Profits over the years. Let's be honest, though, Rick. You know what I mean? And I know deep down they want Tez, especially Montez Ford, to sort of be the breakout star, which he is in many ways. How long is this going to last for, though, man? Do you still think, you know, is there a possibility they're going to split these two guys up very soon anyway?
Well, I think they're fine right now. What so they need
they
to
have in the future.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What they need to focus on is building a division around them of credible contenders or baby faces we want to see on the chase.
Right.
Now, I know everybody has always been in love with Ford. Yes, he has the advantage. He has everything you look for to be a megastar, to move to that main event. But I think Dawkins, man, he has shown his value. He's shown that he can hang there. I think he's got tremendous upside in this company. It's not one of those where we used to think it's a Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty situation.
No. Absolutely not. I agree with you. I don't think Dawkins is as bad as people make him out to be. He just doesn't have that charisma that Montez has. That's what makes him stand out. And that's why people, you know, call him the Jannetty of the team. But that doesn't mean he's bad. The thing is, would he be all right on his own? I'm not too sure.
Well, right now, I'm thinking, you know, the most important thing, they have got to regroup their tag divisions. What I like to see on both sides of the red and the blue brand, they have got to pick one of these, make that the focal point, and group your quality teams together instead of trying to spread them thin.
Right. No, you're right. But you know what? Should they maybe take away one of the tag team titles and just form it as one between Raw and SmackDown?
I would be okay with that.
So would
I'm always good with less titles.
I agree. And look, they do it with the women. So why can't the males, you know, if they were champions, whoever the champions are, they can pop up on both shows, all three shows with NXT.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're condensing and trying to find actual quality inside of that division.
I'm laughing at Sonic the Hedge Rat. Thanks for joining us, by the way, Sonic, saying nobody cares about Johnny Oregano and Tomato Ciampa.
No, I think the one I kind of feel for in this is Ciampa, who seems to have been drugged down by the anchor that is Gargano.
And I think he knows that too, man. But because they're close friends, you know, Gargano, I know he's one of your boys because he's from your neck of the woods, Rick. But does he? Come on, man. Look at him. He looks like a dork. Like, come on, seriously, dude.
Talking about my OH, my Cleveland boy up there.
I'm sorry, bro, but like, come on, man. Like, he
Hey,
really does look like a dog.
you know who looked like a dork? And
Dude.
I almost, man, I wanted to pick up the phone and call 421 kids. And that was Carmelo Hayes standing out there in that ring against Randy Orton.
Oh my god.
A grown
By the way.
ass man, Randy Orton, out there against a child. And you want to talk about criminal.
Oh.
One of two occasions on this show where I cannot believe that they went 50-50 booking, that Orton just did not flat out squash Carmelo Hayes, or at least get KO in here early to break this thing up. The bigger talking point about this segment here is another one-on-one we're going to get at WrestleMania. Personal feud, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. We're going for that at Mania. That's exactly what's going to happen. But you know, they got to start building a little better when it comes to that, though, don't you think?
I think, you know, we had the biggest encounter ever, you know, at the Chamber there with KO and Sammy. People are invested there. Orton's return is kind of again overshadowed by a few with, you know, the thing going on with Jay. We're going to talk about the women's division here. Ultimately, the Cena turn. I don't know if people are really heating up on this thing. You say we've got a long ways to go on this road to WrestleMania. I think they need to start heating it up immediately. And this is a program that seriously needs some attention. Mike Martin over in the chat, Carmelo looked like the baby from Don't Be a Menace to South Central. I think he looked more like the Wayans brother playing the wee man when it's the you know, the midget playing the baby so they can do the robberies. That's what it looked like.
But I will say something about Mello, man. Yeah, like he looks like a child compared to Orton and compared to a lot of the wrestlers. But there's something about him, dude. Like, I think he plays his role very well, in my opinion. I'm not hating on Mello like others would, put it that way. I actually think he can be money. Obviously, he will never be, I don't think, world champion, and that's probably because of his size. But he does have value, in my opinion, and does very much add value. Sir Jam in the chat saying, for me, it's Dawkins. Look, is he playing ball? Is he wrestling? Yeah, that's a good point. He looks like he's about to play ball instead of wrestling, especially with the shorts, man.
Well, I mean, it's just a change up. I don't think that he's somebody's going to just go the way of you know, a Jannetty situation. I think there's an upside, but again, like I said, the clear cut, everyone's leaning towards Montez here. I just don't think it has to be anytime soon, but they need to focus on finding some credible opponents and babies on the chase, and it doesn't seem to be anybody on the SmackDown brand.
And they need to find it quick. But you're right about the build to Mania. Now it's where it starts, and they got to start right now. Since we're about 4 weeks out, you said, correct?
Let's just right between that 4 and 5. It's April 20th, and it is the 15th as I sit here in the United States.
We still got a decent amount of time, but it's really now where it starts. Let's be honest.
All right, well, let's talk a little Total Divas. Excuse me, Naomi, Belair, Jade Cargill situation. We get the recap of the in-ring between Bianca demanding that Naomi come clean from a few weeks ago, and Belair cleaning her hands of this so she can go to the red brand and focus on her opportunity to win the women's championship in that triple threat we were talking about. We get a sit down here. Very personal sit down. Jade Cargill pretty much saying, you know, that was her sister. They were ride or dies. She can't believe that Naomi would do this. How could she trust anybody right now? How hurt she is, and she is out for revenge. Looks like we're going to get that is a one-on-one women's match at WrestleMania. On the way out, though, as Jade's kind of wrapping up her interview, Liv and Raquel, they're making their way through the arena, and we get a setup for a match next week. Interesting to me here is maybe I spoke a little too soon. I was saying it looks like we're going to get Jade and Naomi, but we're still getting interaction from Liv and Raquel, the women's tag team champions. So it's going to be interesting how maybe they tie all of this together at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, could we get this is what it reminds me. Do you remember Strike Force back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when
Tito
Tito
Santana
Santana.
and Rick Martel.
Do you remember the match at WrestleMania 5, I think it was, where against the Brainbusters, and I'm talking about Tully and Arn for the tag belts, where Rick the Model Martel turned on, what's his name, on Tito Santana? And that was the end of that tag team. I feel like we might get a tag match, and this is where Belair turns on Cargill. Personally, just say, for example,
Belair's already occupied. She is gone. She's over on Raw worrying about
but
Rhea.
Is she officially on Raw?
And Io. She's in that match. She is in that match. Belair has removed herself from this.
Okay, well, I just think that's not the end. I just don't think that's the end of it, in my opinion, at all. Like,
I think you saved this. All right, so I'll answer your question here because I was thinking about this as I'm watching it. I think there's a good chance that Bianca Belair, one, wins the women's title, beats Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at WrestleMania, sets up an easy feud with Naomi coming out of the backside, because that was a little rough parting with those guys between those two a couple weeks ago when Belair said, "I'm done here," and Naomi's like, "I did this for you, you ungrateful bitch." You know, that you can go revisit that. Naomi could cost Belair at WrestleMania to go revisit that. But for the time being, she is removed. So I'm curious why they still have the women's tag team champs in here. Just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And do they trust enough? Is it WrestleMania worthy to give Naomi and Jade their own spot there?
I mean, going by it's sort of like a blood feud, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it would be. The only thing is,
is Naomi good enough to carry a match now?
She's not. And that's another thing. She definitely is not. I don't think she ever will be. No offense to anyone that's a huge fan of hers, but she's just not that good. But the thing is, I think Jade has to squash her. If they do have a match, it has to be just one way, a complete route of Naomi, in my opinion. You know what I mean? To the point where Belair comes out and tries stopping, for example, Cargill from just putting the beating on her. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I still think Belair is somehow involved in all of this one way or the other, man. You know what I mean? I know she's on Raw, but that doesn't mean
you are not giving up that, are you?
I'm not going to give it up because at the end of the day, WWE don't care about any.
I'm not saying it's because she is on Raw. I'm not saying it doesn't matter what brand you're on. I'm saying it's because she is moving on, focusing on something else.
Yeah, I just think it's her focus on something else is going to backfire. I think.
Well, could there be a possibility that Naomi and Jade, as heated as they are against one another, that they're forced to become partners again to challenge the tag team champions?
I mean, either way, they're not going to win it.
Could this be a huge sister swerve where all of the sisters are holding titles, holding gold after WrestleMania, as there never was a hit on Jade? It was all set up to distract everybody.
But why?
To distract everybody so they could all win the belts. I just told you that.
Okay, if that's the case, that's lazy though, man. I don't think they're going to go that way. I doubt
it. How's it lazy? You were thinking about it.
I mean, because you got me thinking of it. But in saying that, I just don't think. I don't know, man. I got to think about that more. But I need to see more evidence, like if we're going that way.
The only reason I would suggest that it's not a big swerve like that is because it would have to go through. If me and my friends were pulling off a rouge like that, it would take a lot for one of us to agree to have our heads slammed into the chamber just to sell this to everybody, you know.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, man. You can go either way. I just think if Bianca Belair somehow does not get involved in this, it's just, I don't know. It comes across as just wasted to me.
All right, we're going to move on before you keep talking about Bianca Belair and just saying when she is clearly doing something else here. Hey, you know what I love seeing on my WWE programming each and every week, no matter what brand it is, because she's working them all. She's doing Mondays. She's doing Tuesdays.
She's
And
everywhere,
she's here
dude.
on a Friday. Let's talk about your Ladies United States champion. Chelsea Green makes an appearance. I just want to give a shout out to her. She's got her security with her. She's got Piper. She's got Fire. Hey, everybody, if you want to hear an awesome pitch for Fire, Alba Fire, what she should be doing, go back to last week's Monday Locker Room, about halfway through the show. Hameen lays it out. Perfect. I was hoping to have a clip that we could share here with you. We didn't get it cut in time. Alba Fire should be Alba on Fire, AOF to playoff, AOC, going that whole political route. Hameen is straight heating it up. Go check that out from the Monday Locker Room. But anyway, I want to just give a little shout out to Chelsea and the security team. They're going to be back next Friday as Piper takes on, what's her name? Vega, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we got there?
But can I ask you something, though? Why does her security team have to be always like all Scottish?
It's a running gimmick, dude.
Okay. I mean, I just find it funny that they're both Scottish.
Yes, there we go. I don't know. I never thought about that one. We'll have to do some research and come back to that one next week. If you can get off of your Bel Air horse and maybe do some research and figure out why we got Scottish security everywhere for our United States, for our Canadian-born United States, our president there. That's what we got. Keeping on that women's division, let's turn our attention here from Ohio. We got a shout over there in the chat by Ash by Elegance in Ohio, yeah, but also from Ohio, B-Fab taking on the queen, the number one contender, your Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. Going back to Carmelo Hayes, why is he hanging with a grown-ass man, Randy Orton? B-Fab going toe-to-toe with Charlotte. Now, this one about had steam coming out of my ears, Jimmy.
I hated this, dude. Even though the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," I hated that because who the fuck is B-Fab, dude?
Right?
I hate it. She's hot, like Zane says. Yeah, she's a bae. But come on, man. They haven't built her to be any sort of contender, period. So why now? Why make her look strong in this match with Cha-Cha?
This thing went through a commercial break. Absolutely, I don't know, a head scratcher for me. We do have, after Charlotte finally gets the figure eight in there, finally gets this win, and here comes Tiffy time. We get the brawl, BRAWL, and panties. And scantily dressed. They are fighting all over the place here, brother.
Dude, that freaking when she jumped off the top turnbuckle, I'm talking about Tiffy onto Cha-Cha and security. Man, she turned late to do the flip, if you know what I mean. It looked like she was just gonna dive.
Hey, did you notice this? She jumped off two things, right? She did the top rope spot to the outside. Right. And then as they're continuing to fight out towards the entrance, she comes off of the staging, correct? In either case, she was nowhere near making contact with Charlotte. Completely off the mark in both of them.
It was a schmoz, though, to be fair.
What?
I mean, look how much officials were out there, dude, trying to stop this and whatnot.
Yeah. All right. There's another good point. What do we got? 20 between security officials, a dozen
at least,
and they can't stop these two women.
I mean, you're right. I mean, you said it. There's nothing for me to even respond to that. You're correct, 100%. I know and this is the thing about pro wrestling, dude. We know it's a work and blah blah blah, but you got to be realistic too. You tell me all those men couldn't stop two women, like you said. I don't care how good.
They're trying to express the point here that this is how intense this has gotten. That these two
overdone, Rick.
One at one another here.
You're right.
But you know what? Charlotte just got back from knee surgery. Okay, see, Zane's got a maybe if they play that story, man. She caught her here. Play to that. Then you play to it when Tiffy's coming out. You know what? Who might be able to explain this a little bit better to us?
You, the vet?
No, I was, I teased there as everybody was joining us here. I asked you to spread the word. I think we got enough people there in the chat. We're getting things going here. So yes, I've sent the link out. Not only I thought they're going to join us here through the StreamYard, but they have showed up. They are here in studio. A very special guest. Yes, I got him here on my end of the studio. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, come on in. You never met Jimmy T. The Hameen Army, the chat is hot here. I know you've got a lot to say about this very topic, Charlotte Flair and Tiffy time. All right, guys. Are you ready? Uh-oh. It is the queen herself. Hello, Jimmy. How are you?
Who is that woman? I don't even recognize her.
It is me, the queen. I like tacos and burritos. And I'm driving. And Tiffy time is such a bitch.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I heard you bad-mouthing me, Jimmy.
I thought that was Alexa Bliss for a moment there, Rick. I'm not going to lie. No offense, Cha-Cha. I'm just saying.
You better check yourself. I am the queen and your future champion. Woo!
Oh, my God. Hey, can I ask, is that life size, by the way?
Life size. You want to check this thing out?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Oh yeah.
Wow. She's
See my fine lady here? Oh, yeah. We look good together.
I didn't know you had one of these.
Yes, sir.
I know you were a huge Cha-Cha fan at one point, that's for sure. To the point where you would absolutely go against anybody that badmouthed her. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the queen is back here. Here we are. Smack Attack exclusive. Hey, the divorce papers are going through. She is coming home. The queen is back with the RBV, baby.
Oh, they're back. Look at that. You're a great couple, actually, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look
at these two. Might be my new profile picture right here.
You should. But don't even smile. Just like look serious. It'll be even funnier. Yeah.
Oh, one of these.
Or you could do a little tongue action there, since you Oh boy, we definitely.
Hey, how about that for celebrity run-ins here on the Smack Attack?
And here I am. You're telling me off the air. I'm thinking, who is it? Who's at your studio right now? And it was none other than Cha-Cha herself. I mean,
in classic,
younger, though.
In classic form. Yeah, I think it's the filters that they're using on the USA Network. She's still just as beautiful as ever, standing here in front of me.
But see, that brings up a great point. Look at her then. Look at her now, dude. What the
Hey, you know what? At an honest point there, I had this in my notes. I think she, when she was away, she was under a lot. And again, there's something going on with her. But now that she's back to work, I think she is looking better each and every week.
You know what? You're right. She's actually gaining a little bit more every week, it seems, too, because when she first came back,
she filled out a little bit more. She still looks a little age at the face, a little bit of too much surgery.
But that's the thing.
She looks in better shape. She's getting much more crisp in the ring when she's getting those reps back in there. She's getting back to form of being the best in the world.
Do you think? I know this is way too soon, but I'll ask you now. Do you think she does go over Tiffy by the time Mania comes?
I think they're going back and forth in those conversations.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right on that. They would. I mean, this is a hard one to actually book, in my opinion. Depends, which way they want to go, but we'll see what happens. And like I said, I know it's too early to speculate.
I think that's a good problem. There might be some clear-cut things going on, and it might have been, hey, let's see if Charlotte can come in here, help make a star. And usually because we've been waiting for it. She's beaten Rhea at her WrestleMania. She's beaten so many others who were the time like, oh, she could have made a star. Do they truly believe in Tiffany Stratton right now to be that next breakout, to go to that next level? I tend to believe that they do.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I would lean towards they give Tiffy that moment, that WrestleMania cred, and then continue this program into the summer.
But does Cha-Cha agree with that type of decision? That's the $1 million question.
I'm going to have to ask her in a minute. She
Yeah.
she went upstairs to make me a sandwich right now.
Does she make good sandwiches, by the way?
Oh man, she's a sexy Sammy making machine, baby.
We call them sangers here. Not
Yeah.
the wrestler sanger, but you know what I mean. But yeah,
Jimmy.
I mean, if she's good, if she can cook, that's all that matters.
Well, hey, you know, she's my main attraction. But let's talk about some of the main attractions for the Blue Brand for WrestleMania. Paul Heyman was in the house. Of course, he's here just doing a little PR work. Yeah, he's got the that football as he's walking backstage. But we get him on the show. He's out there hyping up the launch of WWE 2K, the video game there. Of course, it is Roman Reigns Day. He's going to be on the cover. And there are two individuals that are rather jealous that it's Roman Reigns Day. And one is his old friend, CM Punk, and the other is very jealous that has that song that just makes Paul Heyman sick to hear, Seth freaking Rollins. And of course, it is further teaser for that triple threat that we're going to get at WrestleMania, but announces that Roman Reigns will be at SmackDown next week. So that's something for us to look forward to talk to. The crowd didn't like that, though.
Yeah, because I was chanting OTC even before the show officially started, so they didn't get to see him. But I want to ask you this. Is he Raw or SmackDown? Or it doesn't matter?
You already made that clear to everybody. So no, they are going where they need. They are going. Yeah, they're all TKO. They're going where they need to be right now. That's what's important. And speaking of, are they Raw? Are they SmackDown? We get Gunther, who's over there. Big. It's got to be a big draw for the European tour.
And I want to say just before you continue, Hala Madrid.
I don't. What is that?
Oh, he said that during his promo because he's a Real Madrid fan, which is European football, and they're in the heart of Barcelona, and they hate Real Madrid. It's called the El Clasico.
Right, so it's a cheap heat move over there.
Absolutely, but he legitimately does go for Real Madrid. So
football. Did you notice too? Everyone that was looking for that cheap heat was like just speaking the local terms.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, I know it's stupid WWE professional wrestling cheap heat type of shit.
So what? Did they hand out like Rosetta Stones on the flight over there? Like, just learn enough to get a pop. Learn some local phrases just to get a pop. Look, Gunther is making a special appearance here on SmackDown as he's taking on Axiom, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Hey, kid.
What's that?
He said, I know there's a kid around here from around the area in Spain, which is obviously Axiom, who used to be known as
Axiom. Kicking out of an effing power bomb from the champ. Not a good, overall though, not in terms of kayfabe, not a good week for Axiom, but for a career for the kid, What a week.
Yeah.
What a week though. He gets on Tuesday, he faces the Hardy Boys. And then on Friday, he's over in front of the home crowd, right? Taking on a world champion in Gunther.
Do they see a lot in Axiom? I think he's going to be a legit future star in WWE on the main roster. I'm not saying world title worthy, but he could be your next Rey Mysterio. I mean, he seems to have this charisma about him. He's very elegant as well, the way he talks. I'm starting to really enjoy watching him, actually. And I was never the biggest fan of his initially. But the more I see him now, he improves every week, dude. And I think he'll be something major for WWE, at least upper mid-card.
Yeah, there we go. I'm a fan of his. I love the work on NXT, looking to see more of him. Have a little fun moment here to get a spot here to shine with Gunther. We also get Gunther talking up Big Jim in the back. It just adding a little fuel to the match there with Jey Uso as we head into WrestleMania. We'll close things out here, Jimmy, talking about it. It was short, sweet, to the point. I think it should have closed SmackDown to say, hey, tune in to Raw. Cody comes out for Miz TV. We also in this the kind of time, the ladies were still fighting during this thing as Miz is making his way out. We come back from commercial. But Miz says, hey, he's not here for what do you want to talk about? He's not here for a sing-along. He's here to ask the hard-hitting questions. But his good friend Cody isn't going to have any of it. He knocks the shit out of Miz and says the only person that Cody wants to talk to is John Cena himself. So if the champ, the man that basically used to run the place, has got any balls, any guts, not only will he show up on the road to WrestleMania, he'll show up next Monday, this upcoming Monday. So it's going to be interesting. He is advertised. He is advertised for there. So to me, that should have been the go home to this show. Tease that, and I think we're all looking forward to Monday to see what, if any, the new look, the new feel, the new energy, the heel John Cena brings.
Can I ask you though, is Brussels, Belgium the right place to bring Cena back? I feel like you need him in the States to make that first comeback.
You need this as soon as possible. Why does it need to be the States? This needs to be anywhere.
I agree. It should have been done the night after friggin' Elimination Chamber, 2 nights
They should have done something. I understand there's other obligations at hand. Where is he filming at now? This might be why the European tour makes the most sense. He might be able to get away.
Idea, but obviously it must be somewhere in Europe, clearly. So it makes sense. But I just, man, Brussels, I hope Brussels bring the heat, and I'm sure they will. But
anywhere that this is going to happen is going to be nuclear heat.
I hope so, man. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I don't know what Cena's going to say. I just don't like that he's full of shit. He said he was going to be here full time. Did he not for his last year?
That's what heels do. They're full of shit.
I hate that excuse. And I knew you were going to go there. But that's just bullshit. It's straight cap, like Zayn likes saying. Literally, it is just straight bullshit.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's easy to use that excuse.
It was disappointing that they didn't do anything and make us wait. I get it. As we had talked about, I see anyway, there's value. I do think they have mismanaged this thing. As in just how they present it. They could have done a multitude of things. But here it is. This is what it's about. We're going to get it. We're going to find out Monday, hopefully.
Well, let's see what happens in Brussels, Belgium for Monday Night Raw.
Brussels.
Yeah, Brussels. What a name. It sounds like Brussels sprouts, but whatever. Maybe that's where it comes from. Do you like Brussels sprouts?
No.
Why'd you like? I hate Brussels sprouts, just quietly. But still, it's still food. Anyway, Rick, you know what? Are we taking it home? I guess we are. In saying that, tell them what you're up to and what you're doing, man.
Well, as always, you can catch me Mondays with Hameen. So and last week, we're in the midst of International Women's Month. Somehow I pulled off an entire conversation me and Hameen had all about women's wrestling. It was a great listen. If you want to hear some awesome takes, some great stories from Hameen and his OVW days, definitely lock up. Just the new Monday Locker Room each and every week, 3 p.m. Eastern. You get on the Hameen channel or right here, the Hameen Media Group channel. Also, weekend uploads, the 10 count. Me and John Paz, 10 topics, 10 conversations, the past, the present, the future of pro wrestling. Jimmy, you know what? I'm going to let you go ahead and sign us out. I'm going to do a little background audience. We'll send it out as you talk us out. I'm going to do a little slow dancing here with my lady while you send it out. Yes.
Well, if you want to follow me, you can on the Twitter, but I won't respond because of friggin' Elon at DJ MassFX. But most importantly, catch us Tuesday morning, not Monday morning or Monday night, for I Like It Raw with myself and Big Ray Hernandez, where we talk things for Monday Night Raw from Brussels, Belgium. Oh, God. How am I supposed to even say anything when I'm getting thrown off by Rick and Cha-Cha doing the Cha-Cha? But anyway, also tune in this Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, where myself and, of course, the vet talk after the collision. We sift through the wreckage, where we talk all things AEW on Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on Hameen's Media Group channel. And, of course, this very show, the Smack Attack, with myself and R to the B to the V. And I think that's a wrap. Kenny, thank you, by the way, for saying a great show and dinner time, perfect timing for yourself. I appreciate that. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is Cha-Cha and RB to the V. And you've been listening and watching the Smack Attack right here on Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course at channelattitude.com after the fact. And we're out. Peace.